He's a Mexican, and you know he's one of those guys. Whenever he's been stepped up, he's normally got beat, but he's one of those guys that unless you're on point and you're switched on, that's when you can come undone. So it's one of those fights where you've got to be real professional. You've got to prepare for the best in Medina, which is one tough hombre. Make no mistake, this guy's the real deal. He's a really good fighter, and James is preparing accordingly.
It's one of them though. At the same time, it's the sort of fighter you would think someone like James with his talent could look really good against.
Yeah, I'd agree. Stylistically, if you was choosing someone for James to look good against, Medina would be your man.
Yeah.
You know, someone who's rugged, who's tough, who's strong. Especially the first 3 or 4 rounds, he's very, very on point. So it's a case of James being James and being in amazing condition, which I always use Hagler as the blueprint for James, because there was a guy that was avoided for years, become champion of the world, and just made defence after defence after defence. But he's used that like destruct and destroy. But what his whole emphasis was on preparation, and he said as a champion I was avoided for so long, and I prepared for every defence like a challenger. And I've took that leaf on board for James, explained it to James why, and for Medina, James will treat him as if it is Marvin Hagler, because he's got to prepare, because he's the man to be shot at now. So he's got to prepare like that all the time.
An important thing as well for James and for you is that there's a kind of plan now. He wins this fight and he fights the winner of Bute Jack, the unification that everyone wants to see. So how good is that for James in terms of motivating him for this fight?
I think it's unreal, because to start getting ready for fights of that magnitude, it's what motivates James Degale. He loves a fresh challenge. I'm hoping that Bute don't win. I'm hoping he fights Badou Jack, because it's a fresh challenge. Yeah, he's already beat Bute, and I think that will be like a homecoming of homecomings for James to come home in a unification fight against someone as good as Badou Jack, and it'll be a fight for everyone to wet their lips to.
Let me ask you about something obviously in the news this weekend. Nick Blackwell badly hurt against Chris Eubank Jr. in an induced coma at the moment. Did you see the fight? What did you make of the whole situation?
Yeah, I watched the fight. He's a friend of all of us at the gym. He's been down and sparred with James on numerous occasions. A real good guy, and it's a real sad night for British boxing. Sad night for sport. He's just a real nice young man. Never let you down. 100% focused. He's won a British title, which was all over the moon about. And then it's just really sad what's happened, and for everyone involved, for Chris Eubank Jr., for boxing fraternity, for Nick Blackwell, for his family. We just hope that Nick makes a full recovery as quick as possible.
It was good to see though how quickly he was seen to and how quickly they got him to hospital and stuff. That must be, from someone like you who boxed back in the day when there weren't those provisions. It's good how much boxing's come on. You know what?
Unbelievable. When you think back. And I think I see a quote on Michael Watson the other day saying that basically that because of the medical leap forwards we've made, it's fighters of today's era like Nick Blackwell have received all the rewards of attention as quick as it's happened. So touch wood, it was very good for Nick Blackwell the other night.